Welcome back to 1010's podcast. This is Michael with Adam and Robbie. Robbie, did you get your vinyl wrap, bro?
I got it today.
Does it match?
Ish.
Close enough?
I actually, when it showed up, I pulled it out and I looked at it, I was like, oh, fuck, this is way more matted than the other one. Because the other one's kind of more chrome.
It's kind of like a satiny kind of.
It's got a little bit more shine to it. So in the sun, it's real shiny.
Yeah.
And then this one's a little bit more matte, but it's got more metallic. So I'm looking at it going, oh, damn it. And I go stand in the sun. I compare them like, okay, well, actually, I like the darker one better because it looks better in the sun. It doesn't reflect near as crappy.
Darker being the one you just got?
The one the full amount of the one I just got.
Okay.
So then, then you put them side by side in the picture under the shop lights, and they're virtually identical. So
that's what I was looking at. That picture of it looked the same. So I was curious if it was actually the same material or if it's pretty close.
It's not actually the same. It's very close. And the one that showed up today, I think, is going to look better completely spread out on the car and in direct sunlight. And I think the one that's on it now, that sample I got, I think that looks better
in the shop lights.
In the shop lights because it's shiny, but as soon as you put sunlight on it, it's too much. It washes out almost.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
So you getting geared up to do that? Did you buy any other supplies or did you just buy the vinyl?
I bought the squeegee assembly kit with the magnets and stuff.
Oh,
I got a bunch of alcohol to wipe the car, get all the wax off.
Yep.
I got a heat gun because I had a rebate to Menards, so I bought a nice heat gun.
Yep, you mentioned that.
I just got to do some body work first, and then I got fender flares coming. So as soon as those show,
man!
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I got to look at those.
Are those going under the vinyl?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Well, I'll wrap them separately and then just attach them.
Okay, but they're going to be the same
plan.
color.
I mean, things could change. But yeah, I got body work to do. I got to fix the hole, fix the scratch. I'll probably do a better job rolling my fenders, and then I cut off my bumper. So I need Josh for that because if I do it blind, I'm gonna be super upset. Because I measured it out. I put it out on a 240 forum and said, hey, does anybody have this kit and can give me these measurements? And somebody goes, yeah, I got you. And it's like from the taillight, it's 7 inches down and then all the way across. So I know where to cut.
Yeah.
But it doesn't line up with my line very well. So I'm scared to touch it. I need Josh to come cut it for me. Because if I do it myself, I know I'm not going to be happy.
I get it.
Unless Josh is busy, and then I'll just have to do it.
Nah, Josh will help you out. He was ready to come down and cut that off last year.
He was.
And then we got busy. He couldn't do it. He'll come help you.
Yep.
We can finally have our Sawzall party.
We can. It'll be a Dremel party.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It'll be very small, intricate cuts.
How long ago was that episode? My God. With the guys from... It was like Bam Margera and...
It's not even that far from being a year ago.
Now?
At this point.
Was it 40s? It was 46 or something like that.
It's a long time ago.
It was maybe exactly half the number of episodes ago. I just remember the picture of Bam Margera. Isn't it Bam Margera sitting on top of the car with a
Sawzall cutting his hole in his Lamborghini?
Yeah. Was it in his Lamborghini?
Yeah, his purple glow.
They decided they wanted to. It was him and some rock
Ryan
star.
Dunn, wasn't it?
No.
It was
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. There you go. And they decided that he needed a sunroof in his Gallardo, so they just cut
a hole in it.
Cut a hole in it.
Madman.
Because if Billy Idol says he wants a rag top, by God, he gets a rag top.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, I did not know.
I'm not doing that. I glued mine shut.
I got to figure out what to do with mine when I put my cage in.
There's a plate. Do you have the track? A full
I think
track?
so, but I think it's all glued in there.
Oh, really?
It was
I think so.
September 11th, 2016.
What's the number?
35.
35, Robbie. That was a long time ago. That was a long fucking time ago.
That's been over a year.
I accepted the fact that I'm cutting it off. I just never did it.
Just been ramping up this whole time.
Yep.
Just getting psyched.
Sawzall party, number 35.
So what'd you say I have to do?
Oh, what you could do is they make brackets that you just completely eliminate that track. And it actually, I saved an inch of headroom by doing that.
Yeah, that's part of my concern.
It's super simple. Then I just glued it shut. Or,
240s are super short on the
I was
inside.
almost too tall to be in Robbie's 240.
I know. Why are they so damn short on the inside?
When
the RX-7 is not much better.
Mine's sitting on
I can't sit
stock seat rails, though.
Yeah, that's hurting.
I don't have those drop rails.
I'm on the floor.
You're attached to the floor?
No, but I'm basically on the floor.
You've got drop rails.
Yeah.
It's funny because the Omni is pretty high up there, and I wish it was 2 or 3 inches higher up yet. The bottom of my seat. because I look like a little old grandma driving the Omni right now. It needs to be higher up so I have a little better like line of sight for autocrossing.
I think there's more headroom in the Fiat with the hardtop on
Than the RX-7?
than in the RX-7, and definitely in any 240.
Yeah, the
I just
240s
don't
have
understand
no
why they're so
headroom.
damn short.
I don't get it.
Sports car things, man.
I guess so.
And we're not even tall.
No, we are not tall people at all. by
I'm
any
the
means.
shortest one of us all, and it was too. I mean, I don't think I fit there in a helmet if I remember right. You definitely did. You had to like
I was sitting with my
crick
head
your
cocked.
neck.
Yeah. That was back when it was unsafe.
Yeah,
Unsafer.
right.
It's more safe now.
You've got interior in your car still. I
Yep.
think when I put my cage in, I may take my headliner out finally. So that would mean I could remove the molding above the window.
Oh, that would help.
That would help because that's usually the thing you hit your head on first with the helmet's that molding.
Yep.
But then there's going to be a cage rail right there. So
I don't think I'm going full cage. I'm going to roll bar it, though. Make it safe for my harnesses.
I'm surprised being an '80s product that your headliner hasn't drooped yet in the
it
RX-7.
has an amazing headliner in it apparently. Because for whatever reason it's still in there. It's
the
good.
one in the Omni had done that, and the cage was just holding it up.
You took it out. It's
Yeah.
out now, right?
Yeah, I
It's-
was
okay.
able to pull it out through the back hatch in one big piece between the roll cage and the roof of the car. I was able to slide it out that way, but it was a real bitch.
Was there some rule that said you had to have it in there in whatever class he was in?
I think in
Bart was
street
in?
prepared, it has to be there.
Has to have a headliner.
But a mouse had decided that seemed like a real cool place to hang out, and so I needed it removed to clean that out, and I sure as hell wasn't putting that back in because it was a real pain in the ass.
They destroy shit. We had one in the tow vehicle get in the HVAC ducts in the truck and then die in there. It's like, what the fuck? This is something that we
How
use
rude.
semi-regularly, too. He just crawled in there and died. It's like, this is a great smell. And you're blowing it because, it's the middle of summer, right? So now you're just blowing it around the inside of the cabin. I'm like, this is great. This is the most fun I've ever had.
I would
You
have,
little asshole.
no matter how far away from home I would have asked you to let me out, and I would have just walked.
I think we had to take it apart. I
Because
can't
my
remember.
That would've
allergies
been
would
awful.
not have been okay with that.
That was like
It would not have worked well for me.
10 years ago. I've had that truck for a long time. Yeah, I think we had to take it apart, or we took it to the dealership. I think took it apart. I can't remember. It was one of the two, though. I was like, "Fuck this."
Just call
This
me
is-
when it's taken care
Yeah,
of.
I don't want to deal with this shit.
Whatever
you,
it costs,
you
it's worth
find
it.
him.
Do it.
I'm paying somebody hourly to find the mouse wherever he is and just get him out and just rinse the duct out, put it back in there. Let's call it a day. I don't want to have to deal with this shit.
I feel sorry for that high school kid they had hired as a detail boy because he was for sure the one that had to
the
do
kid
that.
that was a porter or a detail. Guess what? You're gonna be a mechanic today.
Yep.
Get to digging.
Bottom of the totem pole is a real shit place to be sometimes.
Especially at a dealership, man. They make you do some dumb shit.
I got taped to a hoist once.
That
Never had that.
I don't think that follows any
By
OSHA protocol.
The owner of it was just I was standing still, but they duct taped me like multiple times around the one of the posts for a 2-post
yeah.
hoist. Then the owner of the dealership like strolled through there, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Don't even want to know," and walked into the office, and I yelled, "I'm still on the clock." He says, "I'll just check you out then." Damn.
Cut me down, damn it. Get me out of here.
I may have deserved it. I don't remember.
You probably did
You probably
deserve
did.
it. But when you were like, what, 19? How
Oh,
old
no,
were
I
you?
wasn't even
No,
that. I
like
was like
16.
16, 17 years old.
You for sure deserved it.
I was
At the time, I'm sure you were convinced.
nothing but
no.
respectful.
I'm sure that's
I'm
what you
not
thought.
the lippy type of person. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure that's what you thought in your head. 16-year-old you?
Why is this happening to me?
16-year-old you? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was kind of a little shit, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
it was fun.
You had it coming. Yeah, hey, it's a life lesson. You learn something from it, right?
Yeah, I always have an escape plan.
Exactly.
Smart.
You learned something. That's all that matters. So anyway, I was just curious. I saw that picture of the vinyl, and it looked like it matched, but that's
enough.
good. If you're
I'll
if you're good with it, that's all that matters.
I was gonna have to redo the gas lid anyways, just because there's like a run in the clear, and you can't see it unless you put the vinyl over top, and there's kind of a
Now you can see
now
it.
it's a defined
So
line.
you're going to have to take it off and sand it.
Yeah, I plan on doing a bunch of body work.
I was going to say, why
smooth.
bother with the scratch? But if that little run will show up in
it'll
that
show like
scratch, I would have
crazy.
thought that stuff was thick enough it wouldn't
No,
matter,
no.
but I guess not.
Well, you heat it up and it contours to what it's
Yeah, I
grabbing.
suppose.
it'll actually accentuate your
Yeah,
flaws.
that's not. I never thought about
if
it
they're,
that
if they're
way.
big like that. So there's a few run spots I know I gotta get cleaned up, and then like the scratches and stuff.
Huh.
How are you going to fix that scratch? It's pretty deep, isn't it? Isn't it into the?
Probably just-
Isn't the metal deformed
No.
It's not?
It's to the metal basically.
Okay, so you can sand it out then.
Yeah, basically.
Is that going to make your insides hurt having to sand that through that paint like that?
No.
Okay.
No, it'll be
I
fine.
was just curious.
We'll be fine.
Vinyl will cover it.
Yeah, see, I've
I've
committed to
he's
the.
got a
to the
plan. I
color.
know that, but I was just curious.
You got to
There's
make
a lot
it
of
ugly.
work in that paint.
Just
That's
fill
why
it
I'm
with
asking.
Bondo and cover it.
That's
It'll
what I
be
was going to
fine.
say. Get some high build primer,
That's basically what I'm going to do.
you primer it and sand it.
Yeah.
God, by the
You
time
gotta
you do,
make
by
it
the time
ugly
you do all
before you
this,
make it pretty.
by the time you do all this body work, you might as well just paint the fucking thing.
No, it won't be that much body work. It'll be like a day's worth of work.
Oh, okay.
Maybe an afternoon's worth of work.
Maybe for you, that's like 6 weeks worth of work. For me.
No, it's not.
Word.
It won't be. But the cutting the bumper off and making that look good might be a little bit of work, but the rest of the stuff will be cake.
So is that so? Where are you going to cut the bumper? How much of that's metal and how much of it's plastic?
It should be all plastic and fiber, or none of it's plastic. It should be all fiberglass.
All fiberglass?
So I'm gonna try to
Bondo
cut. Bondo and fiberglass. So I'm gonna try to cut the seam where it was, and then cut across where the seam is, and just cut through everything, and hopefully I can kind of blend it so that when I attach it, there's no shitty lines.
The wrap should help covering up
Hopefully.
any sins there.
Yeah, and I can kind of I can repair it and fix it. And just kind of blend it a little bit.
It's nothing old Bondo can't solve. Right?
Exactly. I'm already cutting it up, so what's a little bit of body work?
Just slap Bondo and anything, really. I saw a piece of Bondo at this auto museum. I can't remember where it was. It was like one of those side of the road auto museums, but it was literally like I'm holding my hands up. I think it was about 3 feet wide.
That's awesome.
It was like somebody did like not really punched, but like put a huge dent in the side of like a C10, like a square body, and instead of popping the dent out, they just filled it full of an entire like a quart of Bondo.
Yeah.
And it popped out,
when
obviously.
people fill
Imagine
in
that.
body lines, that's when it gets real interesting with the Bondo as well.
Yeah.
People get wild with that Bondo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to use a lot of Bondo.
No, that's not the right way
We
to
used
do
a
it.
lot because that's what it took to build the
But it's
the kit,
it's
but
fine
that's
if it's
different.
thin and you apply it, you prep the surface for it.
Yes.
And you sand it and then you primer it and you do all that shit, it's fine. It's when you start like globbing it.
Building it with
yeah,
your Bondo.
right, exactly. You start pouring it out of a bottle, that is too much Bondo.
When you're making flares out of pure Bondo.
Yeah,
Like
Bondo
that.
flares
Yep.
is not, that's where you draw the line for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere before then, that's too far. But yeah, you got to use a little bit. I mean, none of us know how to lead, so.
Where would I have lead? There's no lead in the car.
No, that's what they used to do.
I know they used to, but
That's what I'm saying.
I
None
know
of us,
a guy.
none of us know how to lead, so
that's not a thing anymore.
I know. Hey, if I had a all metal car and it needed a repair and I knew how to lead, you better bet sure as shit I'd be filling that thing full of lead.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty fucking cool.
They-
Nobody knows how to do it
Eastwood
anymore.
still
But
sells it.
do they really?
Yeah.
I know a guy that does it.
That's cool, man. I think it's awesome.
He does like gold leaf and shit like that too. He's a very talented man.
We should
So,
gold
When
leaf.
he dies, that's it.
Yeah, probably.
When him and all his brethren, all 6 of
I
them
think-
that are left,
I
that's
think
it.
maybe his son knows how to do some of it, but nothing like him.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
all plastic filler from now on.
He's like mid-40s. He's not super old.
Oh, okay. He'll be around.
he
for a
learned it
little
from
while then.
he learned it from a guy who's probably gone now.
I assumed he was like 80 and
No,
chain smoked
yeah.
cigars like
Yeah.
what's his face from
Right.
Jesse James' Garage.
Right.
I can't remember. Now.
I can't remember his name either. He died not that long ago. Last year. Was it last year? Year and a half ago. Talked about it on the show, but those are dying arts.
Yep.
So a little Bondo isn't going to kill you.
No.
So I think that's it. I was just curious about that. You want to do Adam's opener?
I do.
Presented by Eyes Up Auto Art.
Open it up a little bit, Adam.
Just open it up just a little bit. Let's just get it. Let's just get it
just
open.
a touch.
Let's just get it out in the open.
Yeah.
Just a little bit though.
We started it.
Don't too much. Don't do too much.
We opened it up a little bit. We want you
We
to
open-
just like kick the door open and
Oh,
open
you
it
want
all
you
the
want
way
him
up.
to you want him to blow this open. You want him to blow it open.
Just blow the top right off.
Can you
Well,
blow this open for me, Adam?
So the topic I have this week, I think, is going to make you a little upset. So I think we'll be all right.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Is he gonna make both of us
boiling.
upset?
Yeah, both of you.
Oh, this is
Because
ridiculous.
it's bikes and traffic.
Bicycles in traffic?
Bicycles. Bicyclists
Feet-powered,
and traffic.
two-wheeled
Yes.
vehicles.
Yes.
Don't mind me while I get on my soapbox.
Excuse me.
So the city of Ames, being the progressive town that it wants to be, college town and the sort, the intersection, this is some real local shit, but it'll be fine. The intersection of Lincoln Way and Clark, which is where like the KFC is, on Lincoln Way?
Yep.
You're aware of it. I think you even lived right down the street from it at one point.
Probably.
in
I
your
don't know where
life.
the KFC is though.
Didn't you live on Clark?
No, I didn't live on Clark.
Oh, I thought you were on Clark.
No.
Okay, it's only one or two blocks off of the road you were on.
Okay.
And then, Lincoln Way.
Yep.
They recently redid that intersection there, put some new cement and stuff like that down. And then they added this bike lane in there, right? So there's a bike lane that runs right next to the sidewalk on the road, which annoys me because there's no business against there or anything like that. So there's no reason in my mind that they can't be on the sidewalk. But that's neither here nor there. So what they did was they added this bike lane, and then where the crosswalk would normally be, well, I think there's still a crosswalk in there. There's like a probably 4 foot wide section of the road that they painted neon green.
Okay.
And as a car, as a person who belongs on the road, you pull up to that and then you stop, and bikes can filter in front of you and then sit there until the light turns green, and then they can turn onto Lincoln Way into traffic.
So
or cross over Lincoln Way and continue down Clark.
So
or
this
whatever.
green box thing is in
Yeah.
the way of my car.
Yes. So if you're sitting there at the red light waiting for your turn to go, they can filter in front of you. Budge in line,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Skip
And
the
then-
line.
Yep. And
go
then,
to the front.
And then turn right out into traffic with you. Well, you have to
Waiting.
wait. You have to wait
Waiting,
for them
yeah.
to turn out into
Wait
traffic,
a
and then you can go. And the thing that pisses me off the most about this, they threw up a no right on red sign.
So everybody's got a fucking
So
sign.
now you got to fucking wait because the bicyclists, we wouldn't want them to have to pay attention and make sure that there's not somebody turning before they budge in front. So now you got to wait for them.
Since when do the bikes and Ames stop for the stoplights?
Oh no, they don't.
I was gonna say 'cause
They don't.
They never
don't.
did that when
they
I was
don't
living
follow
there.
the rules of pedestrians or cars. They just do whatever the fuck they want, and it's your fault if you hit them.
I remember watching one just cut across Lincoln Way right in
Oh,
front
yeah,
of a bus.
they
Didn't even
blow
look.
it.
Just threw a red light.
Yeah,
I thought that guy was gonna die. He's on a fixed bike gear, so there's like no brakes.
yeah.
So he's just
And he can't speed. He can't
pedaling-
speed up.
pedaling
He's
through
probably
Lincoln
at max
Way.
speed.
can't stop. pedaling.
Can't stop.
Thought for sure he was dead. But I mean, that's a common occurrence.
But it
They
just-
Okay, so that's stupid.
But what
That's-
upsets me is that why? Okay, so if they want to use the road because it's not safe for them to be on the sidewalk, or it's not safe for pedestrians for them to be on the sidewalk. Okay, fine. That argument can be made. That's not where this argument is supposed to go. But so if they're going to be on the road, then why can't they be in line like the rest of us? Why should they get the privilege of moving to the front of the line because they're on a bicycle?
Well, they should.
Why can't they just wait in line with pull up behind the car? You want to turn left, pull up behind the car in the left turn lane.
Well, that's
Wait
where
for
everybody
your
else usually
turn.
does it because they're given the same rights as cars, so they have
Right.
to follow the same laws.
There are
'Cause, like,
certain places in Ames, including this particular area, where bicycles are not allowed on the sidewalk, period.
Yeah, that's
Campus
common.
Town, downtown, that stretch of Lincoln Way, places where there's lots of businesses, lots of foot traffic, they're not allowed on the sidewalk.
I'm
and
pretty
that's
sure Des Moines is the same way.
perfectly acceptable. I have no problem with that at all. But why can't they get in line like the rest of us? Why should they be allowed to filter to the front?
I don't have. a good
And
answer.
why would you take away our ability to turn right on red and make traffic even worse?
Because if you turn right on red, you're gonna hit a bike.
But not if they have to stay in line where they fucking belong.
No, I get it. No, I do complain because they get given the same rights as cars, but they're not capable of going anywhere near the same speeds. Because you'll go on a road that has a speed limit of 35, and your bike's maxing out at 20. On a good road bike.
Well, so their argument for that is that unlike interstates, there's not a minimum speed limit. And let's be real here, we've all been stuck behind Grandma in her Buick doing 15 in a 35, and
Right.
she's still allowed to be on the road, so why can't the bicyclist?
You can write her a ticket though.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
If you're impeding traffic flow, you can
And
get
in
a
my
ticket.
mind, an officer should be able to write a ticket to a bicyclist if he's impeding traffic flow too. If he has built up a line behind him, he should get over, stop, and let people around him until that traffic is no longer being impeded.
I agree.
I
How do
think
you write
that's
him?
perfectly
How do you write
reasonable.
him a ticket though?
I don't know.
Exactly, that's the
Against
problem.
his license?
Does he have his license with him? Does he have a license?
Yeah, just is riding
See
a bike
where it
because
gets weird?
You should have that with you at all times, shouldn't
What
you?
if you don't? What if you don't have one? That's why
you
you're
don't
riding
have
your
one.
bike.
Throw them in the back of the car, take them downtown.
Perfect.
Let them
Problem
sort
solved.
it out.
Problem solved. Just arrest all bicyclists, and then this isn't a problem.
I don't even. I'm not trying. I'm trying not to be anti-bicycle.
I'll be anti-bicycle. I don't
have
give a
any.
shit.
I don't have any problem with people, trying to be fit, or saving the planet, or whatever it is that you think you need to ride a bicycle for. That doesn't bother me in town. I feel a little differently about all you crazy bastards on your road bikes on highways. But in town, as long as you're not being a dick about it, I'm fine with sharing the road. No, don't have any problem with that at all. But I want to share the road. I don't think you should get any special privileges.
I think you should have to license your bike.
That's
absolutely.
If you license your bike,
a whole different
I got no
story.
problems. If you license your bike, I got no problems because I think you should have to pay. I think you should have to pay a road tax, even if it's $5. I don't give a shit what it is. You should have to pay it. I think they should be able to write you a ticket against your registration.
Absolutely.
I think you should have updated registration annually, just like anybody else has to. Update your address, all that information. And I think you should have to have insurance.
I was just going to say, should they not need at least liability insurance?
Because you know what? In theory,
what if they hit
wouldn't,
me?
In theory, wouldn't happen because insurance companies suck. But in theory, if they carry insurance, our insurance rates go down.
What if they hit me?
Yeah, they could totally be at fault for.
They
an
could
accident.
run into the back of my vehicle and damage my bumper.
They could.
Well, I think it's funny that Ames would have that, which seems really backwards to me. But at the same time, if you go over to, I can't think of what it is, it's off of the road behind Towers and all the practice fields and stuff. They have a road.
Mortensen
I think it's Mortensen, actually.
has a bike path.
Yeah, they have a sidewalk and then a bike path, which has a curb between the bike path and the sidewalk, and then a curb. And it also has a curb between...
That's ash.
Ash.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No. So there's a sidewalk, curb, bike path, curb, road.
And when they
So
added that,
all three are segregated from
when
each
they
other.
added that bike path curb, the road is really narrow through that curve now, and it gets real interesting if you're trying to pass like a semi or a FedEx driver or something like that.
That's the part I don't understand. Is like why we give bicyclists more rights at the expense of cars.
Right.
To a safety perspective,
Just
at a minimum.
Just join in with the rest of us. Follow the same rules and regulations of the rest of us, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I got absolutely no problems with that. I'm really not trying to make money off bicyclists, but like,
My
you should
biggest,
have to pay for registration.
I don't understand why we can't just make all this, like, I understand the infrastructure of it, but like, plan to make your sidewalks wide enough that they could handle bikes. Because I mean, you go to the trails and stuff downtown, bikes and people are walking all at the same time. You can do that anywhere. I mean, I understand like downtown.
You're limited.
Right,
We're
where
limited,
where
but,
you're
like,
opening a door right into the sidewalk.
right,
You don't want
which
a
is a little-
bicyclist
which is
on
a little
that.
different. But like in general, I think you could widen your sidewalks and make it a little more accessible, and so they're not on the road, and then you don't have to.
And a lot of
ticket
places
them.
do.
Right, and that makes more sense to me than making it special privileges on the road.
I hate to be like Jerry Seinfeld, but what is the deal with the middle lane bicycle lane? So you have two. It's a 2-lane. So they took downtown Des Moines. It was 5 lanes.
Yep.
So 2 lanes aside with a turning lane. They turned it into 2 lanes aside and a turning lane, and now there's a bicycle lane in the middle. So now everything's narrower,
Oh,
which doesn't seem better.
Ames went up to that. We had a 2-lane in both direction road, a 4-lane road.
Yep.
And it didn't have a turning lane in it.
Yep. So they just added a turning lane.
So they added a turning lane and a bike lane, and now there's only 1 lane in both directions.
That makes a ton of sense. But why would you put the bike lane in the middle?
Yeah,
Not in the middle of.
You have to,
It's in the middle of one side.
yeah,
one
you have
way
to-
of traffic.
You have to cross between.
You have to cross
going
the bike
straight
lane.
and then cross the bike lane to get into your turning lane.
Why would you do that?
I would not, as a bicyclist, I would not want that.
You're in the middle.
You have that? Yeah, say Des Moines
Because
got a bunch of those.
being on a bicycle is probably being a bicyclist on the road is probably worse for visibility to a car than a motorcycle.
Yes.
And so I would be
Yeah, you can't make noise like you can on a motorcycle.
I would not want to be driving down the road and have someone need to get into the left turn lane and have to cross me to get there.
That's the problem with downtown Des Moines.
That would scare me.
They've decided that's better than having the bike lane on the outside,
I'm
on
super
the far
I'm
outside.
super paranoid driving in those areas. I'm super paranoid that I'm going to cross into a bike.
You know what the other thing that it does when they have the curbside lane that is also parking is that means you open the driver's door into the bicycle lane.
Yeah.
We've
How does
all-
that make
you-
any
You've
sense?
all seen how that ends.
How does
on
that make
movies.
any sense at all?
Every comedy movie ever.
Yep.
But they keep converting all the downtown roads into middle bicycle lane roads.
I don't know why we need to convert. Like,
Not downtown. Speed limit's like 20 miles an hour.
just leave it alone. They can just be in traffic.
Absolutely in downtown Des Moines, I agree. They can just be in traffic. There's
There's
no...
a stoplight every half foot. I mean, it's not like you get any real speed at anything there.
No.
No.
Especially when you're scooping the loop in your Honda.
Hell yeah. Picking up high schoolers.
All 95 horsepower. I mean, you're only going...
Revving at cops.
You're only going like 20 miles an hour when you get to the next light anyway. So what's the problem?
Shift for second.
Yeah. That bicycle's going faster than you anyway. Just calm down, high schooler.
There's only one person to blame for this. Hipsters.
Yeah, because
Fix
we are
your
hipsters.
They're not one person.
One people.
Group of
One people.
How dare you?
Sorry. One people.
Yeah. Since we are the
I'm triggered
new
now.
hipster capital of the... Yeah, I'm super
Yeah.
triggered. The new hipster... Your microaggression really triggered me. We are the new hipster capital of the world.
Yeah, we were
now,
named
anyway.
that.
I know. It's not Seattle or
we were on the brink of a
It was,
hipster bubble.
Oregon for or
Topeka.
some,
No, not Topeka.
Portland.
Yeah,
Oregon.
Portland. Yep.
Yeah.
Portland, Seattle. And then, now it's us.
Des Moines.
Until we get too big, until we get too mainstream, bro. Then you got to bail out.
That day's coming.
Then our hipster bubble will burst.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Strangely okay with that.
However we can make Des Moines bigger so that we can pass on the hipster torch to someplace else would be great.
I don't know how to do that.
No,
I'm
I
not
don't know
I'm not
either.
hipster enough. I'm not hip enough with the hipsters to know.
No, I think what you have to do is assimilate into the hipster culture
Oh God, no.
and then be like, bro, have you guys been to Cedar Rapids before? And they're like, what's Cedar Rapids, dude? Oh, let me show you. And then they all think it's cool. And then you open up like an organic free range coffee shop and you only listen to like indie under the water
Fish?
record albums.
Yeah,
No, not
no,
Fish.
no,
That's
no.
way
That's
too
way too
mainstream.
main-
Whoa,
Oh, that's
dude.
too mainstream
Well,
now.
yeah.
Son of a
But
bitch.
it has to be listened on vinyl because that's how
All
true
vinyl, yeah.
music
Oh,
is
yeah,
listened
vinyl
to.
for sure.
Put in a vinyl record player.
Do you know that tapes,
They're making a
cassette
comeback.
tapes
Coming
are
back,
making a
son?
comeback?
Urban Outfitters
Oh,
sells
yeah.
tapes now.
No, they don't.
Yes,
Yeah, they
brand-
do.
For
brand-
what?
Brand new albums
Tapes
are on
for
tape
what?
now.
Yeah,
Tapes for what?
I know the machine.
hipster music.
All
At Urban
music.
Outfitters?
Urban Outfitters sells the new Machine Gun Kelly album. It's on tape. I don't think it's all the songs.
That's not hipster music.
No, but it's
That's
they're selling everything.
super weird.
I
Is
know.
it because they're all buying like 90s Volkswagens and they don't have CD players in them? They only got
I
tape
blame
players?
Guardians of the Galaxy
Because
They
for
listen
bringing
to
the tapes back.
they glorified the tape player thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He may not be wrong on that.
That's what brought it back into the mainstream light.
Probably. All those kids were asking, Daddy,
Yeah.
What's that
Daddy
thing?
what's that?
There's a video out there where there's kids are like trying to figure out how to make it play music. They're just holding a cassette tape trying to figure out why it won't make any noise. Super funny.
VCR is going
It
to
makes
come
me
back
feel
around.
really old though.
VCR is going to come back now. You know
Still
that?
have a VCR.
I think Urban Outfitters sells VCRs.
You got to be shitting
I'm not
me.
shitting.
Of what? It's like the worst quality thing you could watch a movie on.
Brink. So we watch Brink.
Dude,
I bought that.
I bought it too.
you both bought it.
It's on Amazon now, so I bought it.
Is it Blu-ray or DVD?
Like
No,
literally,
it's SD.
literally,
Oh, is
I
it?
like 2 minutes after Robbie sent us that on the messenger, I went and
bought
bought
it?
it on my phone so that I have it before they take it away from me.
Yep.
That's a good point. You guys were looking for it for a long time.
I'm so happy.
I have the VHS, but now I have a digital copy.
I already watched it. Me and Logan sat on the couch and watched it. It was the best day ever.
I haven't watched it.
You know, if you watch the VHS copy again, you are a hipster.
I need to find a VCR to play it on.
I got a VCR.
I've got one somewhere
You
around
guys want
here.
to come hang out and watch VCR movies?
No.
Got
No,
a
that's
bunch
the
of
problem
skate-
with Des Moines right there. That's the problem. Is people, that phrase has been uttered too many times in this town. Bro, I just got this new VCR player from Goodwill. You guys going to come watch
On my tube TV.
on my Tube TV, bro? Let's check it out.
What are you doing this
Shit's
weekend?
wild, bro.
We should have a 10-10s party. We could all watch VHS movies.
I got to DGOS my tube TV.
What?
When that you don't remember what
the green
DGOSing
thing in the
is?
corner?
Oh, is that
Yeah,
what the
but-
magnet thing?
Yeah, and then you like there's a button you can do and it makes the screen go crazy. And then that green light goes over.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, dude, it was fun to do that. DGOS things.
I don't remember that, but I remember the green dot.
Yeah,
I knew you couldn't get anywhere near with a magnet.
yeah. I messed up more than one TV.
Did you really?
In my stereo days.
That's that.
Walking past with the big
Wow.
sign.
Oh,
That's
really?
so
Oh, I
shit.
didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I also
That's a
ruined.
bad deal.
I also ruined a debit card.
Yeah, I can see that.
that's a pretty powerful magnet.
Yeah.
to ruin a debit
I
card.
didn't think about it. I just set it there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Set my wallet there.
I can't go to hotels because my wallet ruins the key card thing.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
How many credit cards and stuff do you got in your
No. It's got a magnet in it.
Oh.
The money clip's got a magnet in it, and I didn't think about it. And I actually like this wallet because I like the magnet thing. But
Yep.
you can't.
Nope.
Hotel cards, it just ruins them.
Look at all those hundreds he's got there.
Oh, dude.
There's no hundreds in here.
Yeah, as he hides it.
Just put this back in my pocket. Fuck you guys.
What are you talking about?
I was told this week that we don't call Rob Handsome Rob enough,
Thank you.
and we don't
Who
call
said that?
Michael Trust Fund enough.
Lots of people said
The trust fund came back around this past week.
Don told me he was disappointed in the lack of Handsome Rob and Trust Fund.
I also
Trust fund came back around.
I'm disappointed as well.
Is it Dustin or Dusty? Dustin.
Dixon?
Yeah,
He's,
he
he's
got
silver C10 to me.
he got
I
me
don't care
with
what his
he hit me with the trust fund this
Today?
week. No, on the threat. He got you for the estate.
Well,
He got
you
me
were
for
the
the
same-
trust fund for
for
the
the-
Ralph Lauren
Oh yeah, that
share.
$29,000
$29,000 share. You know what that reminded me of? Our Mansory episode.
Yeah,
I would say
absolutely.
wrong.
$6,000 carbon fiber.
That's
fixed
exactly what that
chairs.
reminded me of.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's like, I figured it out. That is, so what was it, 29,000? That's 58 LT1s, man. You could do a lot of swaps. That's like 6 or 7
Just
RX-7s.
to put it into perspective and things that we can make sense
right,
out of.
that's 58 LT1s. Don't forget, guys, check out Eyes Up Auto Art, EYESUP Auto Art. I think he posted that DSM photo.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
It's
He
done.
did.
So
He even hashtagged better looking Evo.
He did.
he did, actually. I do remember that. I was like, hell yeah, dude.
I was like, gee, I wonder where I got that from.
It
Made
is
me really happy.
It is a better looking Evo
It
for
is.
sure.
Yeah, it turned out really good.
It turned out really good.
And he posted another thing too. He's like, it's been like a year since I started doing this, and big thanks to us and some other channels and stuff that he supports. But
Yeah, that was pretty
We
rad.
appreciate that. It's glad that we could be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. He's got a list of some things he's going to do over the winter, which is pretty cool. So, like, we do winter car projects. He does winter paintings, as it turns out, which is, I mean, that
noticed-
makes sense.
I got it.
I noticed Robbie's 240 wasn't on the list, so
You need to send him a check,
He's
sir.
waiting for that.
I was waiting for
that
all the
deposit.
I was waiting for the gifts. People were like, "Hey, we like what you're doing. Here's a gift. Christmas is coming. Hint, hint to anyone that wants to buy me a painting."
Does Jess listen to this?
My family listens to this.
Damn.
Oh, it's true. His family does listen to this, don't they?
If you guys need help,
Hook
just let
him
us
up.
know.
Hit him up with that. If we keep pestering enough, I think
Well,
we'll
I
do
wonder
it.
if he's capable of painting smoke off the tires. I bet he is.
I bet he could.
We'll figure it out.
I thought he had a drifter on his list this time. We'll see. We'll see what he's up to.
Yeah.
See what he's up to over the winter. EYESUP Auto Art on all the socials. Check out his Instagram. I like his Instagram best because it's easiest to see what he does because that's based
That
on
is,
pictures.
the most
that is
active.
definitely
Duh.
an Instagram medium.
And since Facebook is fucking all of us, fuck you.
Fuck
Zuckerberg.
you, Facebook.
Getting zucked.
Ooh,
I like it.
That's
Getting
good.
zucked. I stole that from another page, but basically, the short version of that story for everybody that doesn't have a page is that Facebook is basically limiting everything that you will get from us or any other page that you follow.
Unless you pay for it.
I understand that I can appreciate that they want people's feeds to be more friends and family based. I get that. I do. There's a lot of pages out there, but I think a lot of businesses where people have to make a living, grew on Facebook and use it to communicate with their customers, and now those people are going to be taking a hit because people will. It'll be less likely that they will see updates and posts.
Yeah.
Well-
we've noticed that before too. Like if we pay for it, that's the only way everyone sees it, or at least most of the people see it.
Definitely. I mean, we've complained about that, especially if we post a link to our website, 3 people see it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really helpful.
Yeah,
but
so-
now it sounds like it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, so if you're if you're our fans and you like what we do on social media, make sure you hit that receive notification setting.
Or see first.
I will not abuse that.
No.
If you do that, I promise.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It is annoying to say you post the link to our YouTube video we make, and then it's like 6 people saw it.
Yeah, because they want you to, like we talked about with
again,
James,
pay
they
for
want
it.
you to post it on in their video system so that
See, I
they
was
can grow
thinking
that
about
business.
that. It's very weird to me that they do that because they need a lot of storage space to store
video?
all that video.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it would be a better business model to make YouTube videos embeddable on Facebook and let YouTube worry about how they're going to store
that. No, I understand. I understand your point.
I have a very intimate understanding of how
data
much
centers,
data, or what a Facebook data center looks like, and it's out of control. Let me tell you.
And I understand that Facebook is a business as well, and they need to make money. But
Yep.
I think somebody said today they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and I think that was probably a fair statement.
Well, what I saw was like, so they're splitting up the feeds. You'll have a friend's feed and a pages feed. And if a friend shares a page post, that still won't show up in the friend feed.
Ooh, that's going to get really weird.
That's gonna hurt.
I've probably never spent any time in the friend feed because I've mostly designed my Facebook for me to have like all the companies I care about.
Yep.
And my Instagram is all the people I care about.
Yeah, I think you'll just see people migrate to Instagram.
That's where I get my, like all 5 of the people who I like as friends. That's where they are.
If somebody had a different way to share events, I would probably just do that and then get rid of Facebook again because I didn't have it for a while.
Yeah.
I think our interview fell through, but I'm going to tell you guys what I did to the green Fiat last weekend.
It looked like you got there were gloves out.
Your hands got dirty.
It was legit.
Drift spares were zip tied to bumpers.
Yeah.
And shit was getting real.
Shit got real in there.
The Beck garage.
We're getting pretty good at tearing engines out of stuff. We got that engine out
What
and
happened
had
to
it
that
apart.
poor thing?
And okay, so for those that didn't follow my Instagram, I'll tell you what happened. So we bought this green Fiat for not very much money. We bought it because it was really clean. The body was clean, and we knew the engine was stuck. So we thought it was stuck in the fact that it just had sat, and obviously the rings had rusted to the inside of the sleeves. And so you could break it with not WD-40, but maybe what do you typically use? Brake fluid
PB
or
blaster.
PB blaster or brake
My
fluid or
go-to.
whatever. So we were hoping that we could bust it loose and, we could do some tuning up to it, and it would be a driver, and we could flip it or do something with it.
You're not gonna sell it.
Couldn't. Nah, I kind of think about selling it. I want to buy another RX-7.
You guys did sell the coupe, so I guess I can't say too much.
I was hoping we could get it unstuck and then make like 4 times the money on it, you know what I mean? And just get it sold and move on to something else. Buy a cage or whatever. But, so anyway, it was super stuck. We tried everything we could to try to get it unstuck. Didn't work, so we're like, okay, well, let's just tear this out. So we found a short block. So we're going to pick up the short block in a couple of weeks.
Where?
It's in Chicago.
Just got back from a road trip there. Watch those toll booths. $100 in tolls round trip with a trailer.
Is it really?
Oh, damn.
Oh my God.
That hurt. To get into Schaumburg, it was
they-
$55 coming in and
What?
$55 coming out.
Do they charge you by axle? Because that's how
They
they
charge
get you
you by
in
the
Kansas.
axle. Yeah, they charge you by the axle, and then you hit like 6 toll booths on the same damn road.
Jeez. That's insane.
Yeah.
Especially on something like
hurt.
that where
It hurt real bad.
your gross vehicle weight is not that high.
No. The trailer that we had was probably heavier than the vehicle that we picked up.
That's insane.
Because we picked up the newest generation MR2.
Yeah.
They weigh like 2,400 pounds or something like that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
It hurt.
That's why you should get an iPass.
It
and
hurt.
just have it.
It hurt real bad.
Whether you actually use it annually or not, it's just good to have.
We have iPasses in the company vehicle because we do some work in Illinois.
Yep.
If I'd have known,
You would have grabbed one?
yeah.
Yeah. It's we use it when we go to Chicago in February because to stop and pay them is insane.
Yeah, I would have even said like, given the company money back on the iPass if that was what it was because it's like half
Oh yeah, at least
when you
half.
have an iPass.
Yep, it's crazy cheaper.
Anyway,
So anyway, we're gonna pick up that short block. So in the meantime, anyway, we tore the motor out of the green car. It's 2 liter, so it's a little bit bigger capacity than the one in the 74, but it's fuel injected and it's actually lower compression because of emissions and other bullshit. So anyway, tore that motor out, started tearing it down, and as we were tearing it down, we still couldn't get it unstuck. So we flip the motor over, we take the pan off of it, and the first thing I see when I take the pan off is that the oil pickup is laying on the crank. So,
Well, that's not good.
Well, actually, before I noticed that, the oil pan was really dented.
Like
So it's beat to
slammed-
shit.
okay.
Yeah, I got slammed into a curb or a driveway or something like that. So, but not enough that I would have thought that
Internal
would have
damage.
caused the problem. So, Tear the oil pan off. We see the oil pickup's just laying there. So that's a bad sign, obviously. So it wasn't picking up oil from the bottom of the pan. Now, whether or not whatever was left of that oil pickup was actually enough to siphon oil out of the bottom of that pan, I don't know for sure. So it may not have been lubricating the engine
At all.
properly at all, and especially under like load, one direction or another. I'm sure that it wasn't. So that was going on. The interesting thing about that is that the Fiats have a sensor in them that is when it hits low oil pressure, it's supposed to cut the motor off.
That's pretty advanced.
So even in the 74, we have that.
That's
it's still
real
in there.
advanced for that.
I think somebody removed it or bypassed it. It's the only way I can think that they got away with running it to the point of failure. Now, that's not what I think failed. Well, I take it back. I think that is what failed. But as we started to take the motor apart more, so I took the main bolts out of the crank to try to get the crank out. And as I was taking those apart, the bearings looked worn, but they looked okay. Like, it shouldn't have seized based on what I saw when I was taking those bearings out. So then I started to try to get the pistons out by unhooking the connecting rods. So I got 3 of them out, and then one of them I couldn't get out. And as I'm doing this, as I take, the main caps off and then start trying to take the pistons off, I'm putting the breaker bar on it to see if that was enough to get it unstuck. So finally I'm on piston 2. I can't get the rod to come loose at all, and so I'm just beating on it with a hammer and then beating on it with the breaker bar, and then finally it breaks apart. And Robbie, I'm sure you'll share the picture or show it on the YouTube channel. But that whole bearing was just like smeared inside of there. It got so hot. So
It's almost like friction weld.
yeah, it was basically friction welded because it would not come apart.
Holy shit.
I mean, I had a 3.
That thing had to sound so bad.
I had at least a 3-foot breaker bar on it. Me cranking on it, and I couldn't get it to come loose until finally I had everything else loose. I had those cap bolts loose, and I was just beating on it, and like trying to shock it, because sometimes just putting progressive pressure on it it won't break loose.
Right.
So I was actually like bouncing on it to try to get pressure, a shock of force on it to get it to come loose, and it finally did. So 2 things. Obviously, the oil pickup failing, that was a big problem, and that's probably what caused the main bearing to go, or sorry, that connecting rod bearing. The other thing that people should be aware of is that on the Fiat crank specifically, and I'm sure on other cranks as well, you cannot turn them down. So you can't put them in a lathe and turn them down if they're marred. So if you rebuild a motor and the bearings have gone bad, so you put the crank in a lathe and turn it down to and then increase your bearing size,
like
which
small block Chevy world, that's no big deal.
do that all day long. Can't do that with a Fiat crank.
Really? Why?
It's not hardened all the way through.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
So
That's a bum deal. So what then?
so you have to get a new crank.
I'm sure that those are just a dime a dozen.
I think you can actually
Arnold's and pick one of those up.
I think you can actually get them from like Auto Recombi. You can get new ones.
They're Lada parts,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can get them, but you cannot turn them down and you can just buy whatever size bearing. I mean, and that's what they did. They turned it down 200ths and then they
Oh, it had been
changed the bearing.
turned?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So I think maybe that's why some of the other ones looked marred.
Okay.
I can't decide which failure caused what. I'm pretty sure it had to do with oil pressure, but you cannot do that in that motor. So, and
Not the
it's
way you drive it, for sure.
Yeah.
If you putt around in it, it might be all right.
You might be able to get away with it for a while.
But
Yeah, not long term.
Not long term. It's not the right way to rebuild those motors. So that had happened. I mean, it was marked on the crank. It said 200s on it, and then I think the bearings were also marked the same way. And so it's clear somebody had been in there, which is why I think that somebody bypassed the low oil pressure sensor, because somebody had been in there and fucked with all that. So I think that got bypassed to get the engine to run, because maybe the sensor had gone bad, and then they actually did break the oil pickup, which did cause low oil pressure, which then caused the engine to fail, which would have failed anyway if given enough time because of turning down the crank, changing the bearing size.
you'd think that thing would have made a hellacious noise.
Oh, I'm sure it made a terrible noise.
Like way worse than the S10, which was a really bad noise.
I mean, yeah.
I need to get that motor out and
Do the same thing.
do the same thing
Yep.
just
for fun.
to know.
It was worth it just to get. It's like, we gotta get this fucking thing out of here. We gotta figure out what happened.
Sometimes it's kind of fun though,
Right. We didn't have to tear that motor down.
Especially when you don't have any like
It's not going back together.
Yeah, there's no like consequence no matter what you find out. It is what it is. Okay, cool. Now I know. Let's make sure we don't do that on the next motor.
I can't get that crank out of that block now.
It's like
because the rod is welded to the crank, and I can't. The way that it's in there, I can't get the crank pulled out.
you should make a table out of that.
Should maybe make a table out of
Just
it.
leave it in there.
Just leave it in there.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation piece.
It is.
People come to your
It
house.
makes
like,
it way better than just the normal.
I could put it
block.
back together with the other pistons in it.
No, just the one.
Just put the one in
Just
it.
the one.
Nah, I'll even put them all in.
It's flat on the top too, so you could actually put risers on it and then put a piece of glass over the top.
The real bum deal is that you can't have the head on there because that's the best looking part.
Yeah, they ruined them when they put the fuel injection on them. They covered the
really?
whole thing. It doesn't look anywhere near the same. The head is the same,
But
kind
you
of, but you can't see it because it's covered by the
I
fuel.
love the way the motor looks in your race car.
Yeah, they
Fiat.
covered all that shit up.
It looks so cool with those cam towers on it.
Yep.
It's super cool.
Yep. So anyway, we'll get the short block, throw it back together, throw it in there as fast as possible, NASCAR style. See if it works.
Does the head look good?
No. I'm not sure what happened to that motor. It looked like
Everything.
It looked like the head had been at the bottom of the ocean for a while. I'm not sure why it was so
That's
scaly.
where I store parts, don't you?
I have no
mean,
idea why it was so scaly. Like the valves are scaly. The
Is
whole
it salvageable or you just,
yeah, I think you could take it to. We're gonna take it in to
There's a
machinist and have him.
There's a
look
place
at
in
it, but
Nevada that just does cylinder heads if you need me to drop it off there.
maybe I don't know who our guy is now that I've banished the guy from Norwalk for not replacing the valve guides after I've asked him to twice.
I know that shop, like that's literally all they do. It's called Midwest Cylinder Head.
Okay.
That's all they do is cylinder heads, and they come highly recommended by the Turbo Dodge community.
All I want to do is I'll go up to him and say, "Do you replace valve guides?" And if they say yes, great, let's do it.
They'll do
That's all I
whatever
need.
you want.
That's all I need my machine shop to do is, "Do you replace valve guides?" Yes,
I
great.
think they're owned by the same parent company that Arnold's Motor is under.
Oh, okay.
So they're a good company as far as I can tell.
Rad mad. You may have to do that then.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's what we're doing with the green Fiat. So I posted on my Instagram. What should we put back in here? I didn't know if people would take me seriously or not because nothing we do on this show is serious. So
No.
but you
Generally.
know, the votes came in as either SR20 KAT. That's the first option.
Obviously.
Option 2. These are based on votes, so that tied with rotary. Obviously,
That's your next
those
best
are
option.
those are the top
That'd
two.
actually be pretty sick.
A rotary Fiat would be pretty cool, I think, and I think it would fit because it's so small. And then the last option was it was 2J or 1J. I don't remember.
I have a better
That was by-
option
that
than
was by
all of those
Steve.
things.
Yeah,
That was
bye firewall.
That was by Steve. I was like, Steve, where is that going to fit? Somebody actually no. Somebody maybe it was Trevor. I can't remember who it was. Somebody else said the same thing. Dude, you should put a 2J in that. Like where?
Your dad shared a picture on his Facebook, and somebody asked him, "What are you putting back in it?"
Yep.
And he replied, "Oh, just the normal motor." And that guy said, "Oh, I figured you put something bigger in
You
it."
put a V8 in there.
Yeah, you should.
So it's not like it's just you. Your whole family has that
It
reputation.
started this whole thing. You'd have to. I looked at it. You'd have to cut the front of the car off.
Just move it out.
Custom build everything.
No, you just have to cut it off, tube it, and then try to attach the fenders to the tubing. That's what you would have to do to.
Just hang the fenders off the valve covers. It'll be fine.
That'd probably be pretty close to the edge of where it is now.
You need to get on ebay.co.uk and get yourself a multi-air on its way. Put that in there.
Should try to find a
Put a
wrecked.
1.4.
Should try to find a
multi-air.
new wrecked Spider.
Right. That's the
that in
motor
there.
in the new
Yeah.
Spider. Apparently, that's the NC Miata transmission. So if you had the motor, you could get the transmission. It wouldn't be that big a deal.
I see your point.
Swap that in. That would be a sweet little deal.
Now the gears are turning.
Well,
Look
so
at, he's
but
thinking.
so this car, I really don't want to keep it unless somebody's going to drive it. Like
Right.
I want to get rid of it.
So put the motor that's in the race car in there.
Well, so the motor's coming out of the race car at some point when I'm done messing with the RX-7. The motor's coming out of the blue race car, possibly 2018, 2019. Or, well, no, it's got to come out because we have another 2-liter that we're going to...
That's not in a 2-liter right now, is it?
No, it's a 1.8.
Okay.
So we got another 2-liter, another block with a new crank ready to go. We just need to get the rest of the parts to put that together, bearings, all that fun stuff.
You've had that for quite a while, haven't you?
Had that for a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's either going to get gapped rings in it for boost, or
High compression?
no, not high compression. It's either going to get forced induction, or it's going to get an Ecotech. So far, the votes are swaying towards forced induction.
I really don't want you to lose that motor.
So let me throw one more out there just for funsies. So there's a turbo manifold for that car that you can just buy.
Yeah,
And then it's got a TO3 flange on it. The other option is, I've been talking to Bert about this, and actually Kevin Lawrence had one of these on one of his drift cars, is a Eaton M90.
It's the blower that came on, I think, on the GXP.
The GXP, a bunch of Mercedes, a bunch of Buicks.
Or maybe that was the M60. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Thunderbird, Super Coupe.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
stupid cheap. All you have to do is build a plenum off of it to get it into the intake.
Kind of like mine is.
Yep. I would remote mount it, and then I saw somebody, I'd like to look into how it oils, but I saw somebody mount one on its side, and then you literally just have to come out of the bottom of it, which would now be pointed to the side, straight into the intake, which would be way better than trying to put it on top of the intake.
Is there room off to, stage left there?
Find room.
Okay.
I have a saw and a death wheel.
You can make room.
That's double A arm up front, right?
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about
Everything's way down.
Ah, you're good then.
Yeah, I'll make some room in there. May have to take out some structural pieces, but we'll
Put it back in.
box it back in. It'll be fine. Let's figure it out.
What's the worst that can happen?
I don't know. So anyway, those are the options.
I like it.
I really want you to keep that motor.
I really want to junkyard supercharge something.
I'm
Anything,
not
yes.
opposed to that.
I was thinking it might be more RX-7 though, to junkyard supercharge it. I found the supercharger, which is the real problem. I found the one that I need. It's got a short snout on it. I know where I would mount
Like
it.
a Roots? Or are you getting something?
They made different versions of that M90 that were different sizes.
Oh, okay. So
snout-
you're using M90 either way.
Yeah, they're not very big. And I was like, man, I know where I would put that on the LT1. Just get wild with it.
I like it.
Because we're going to get another LT1 also. And so I could blow the one up that's in it and then build another one that's got the correct ring gaps in it and the correct cam, and then actually supercharge that with a forged rotating assembly and not worry about it. But according to Freiberger, I should be able to put like 10 pounds of boost on that other motor.
You know what that car really needs? More horsepower.
Absolutely.
That's exactly not what it needs. Car makes plenty of horsepower.
It's just not quite fast enough to break the tires loose. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the
here.
problem. That's the reason why I can't slide it. Because it doesn't make enough
it's
power.
definitely the issue.
Those rotary guys beat me up, man. Telling you, 13B NA, smoking me all day long.
Literally.
So anyway, I don't know. I just like scheming and putting cheap things on things and making them run. It's fun.
I'm into it.
It's fun for me.
You do a much better job of following through on your scheming than I do, so I'll give you credit there.
We'll see. I was thinking about just buying the supercharger so then I have it and then I have to do something with it.
Put it on the
Instead of-
Camaro.
That needs a whole motor, but
It's a small block Chevy. How hard can it be?
it needs the motor taken out and gone through and then put back in there with new bearings.
I know a guy.
Smart.
Can't be
Yep.
that big a deal.
True.
You can turn that crank
That crank you can turn, absolutely. If it's not that engine's
if it hasn't already.
30
been.
over. It may have been turned.
Yeah, probably.
It's 30 or 60 over. I'm pretty sure it's 30. It's got one rebuild on it. Anyway, that was my dive into engines. But I tell you what, tearing engines out of shit and knowing that you're not going to reuse them is like super fun.
Very liberating.
Oh, I
Yeah,
did
it's
that
very
I
liberating.
did that with a K24. Just yanked it out.
Just yank it
pulled
out.
apart.
You can do whatever you want.
Well, this is aluminum. We can scrap that over here in this pile, and that's steel, so that's going in that pile because it don't matter.
Literally throw bolts wherever you want to. Because fucking, I'm not using this again.
That's where my bolt bucket came from.
It's from the KA.
It's all K24 parts. These are all my spare bolts.
That's where it went wrong, Robbie. You should have just bought the turbo kit right there.
Nah, fuck that.
That's where it went downhill, bro. You
Uphill,
could be
man.
living that KAT life.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Say that to the guy that's got that one, the guy that Bert knows, got the KAT with the nitrous injection on it.
That would be
Makes
fun.
like 600
That'd be a
horsepower.
blast.
Which
How
that's what
long
Kevin
does it
had.
make
That's
600 horsepower. That's the problem.
Yeah, see, you get bogged down in these details about like reliability and running costs and all this shit.
I have now missed out on 2 full seasons of racing because I have reliability issues. So
No, I
yeah,
get it.
I get bogged down in it.
I get it.
That's why I want to add forced induction to something. You got to add a little spice to your life, you know?
Well, see, that's
A
the
little gamble.
That's the problem with me is like, what's the first thing I think about? Like, oh, so the winter's here. I just need a few little parts to get the Omni running again. Well, I should just throw the supercharger on it.
Supercharger on it. You're there. You're already in there. You're working on stuff. You need a couple bolts. You got the carburetor.
It's such a bad idea.
No, it's a great idea.
You got another motor.
Yeah.
Let me get half of next season, and then we'll talk.
No.
You have
You
all
don't
of-
want to go in there
You
twice.
have
That's
all
what
of
I'm
winter.
saying.
Yeah. Once you're in there, you got to just do it.
Yeah, you just got to get it done.
You know how easy it was to bolt on? It's not that big a deal.
We had it on there once.
It's been on there twice.
Had to do a couple things to finish it up. That's all.
I just need a
Let's put,
carburetor.
let's put it back on there.
Here's,
It's already
here's
there.
the deal. You could get a regular distributor on it. Do
See,
all
that's
that.
the problem is I don't know a good way of doing it without finding one of the Mopar computers, and that's short of impossible.
That sounds terrible. Never mind. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Fix the Unilight,
Yeah.
and then we'll just. I mean, you're literally right because the
All I
distributor's
need-
right there. It's
All I need for the blower is a carburetor rebuild kit and some jetting,
Yep.
because I know it's whatever's in there's certainly not going to be right,
No.
and an air fuel ratio gauge. Those are the things I need for that.
Sounds like one swap
And
meet.
a giant heaping dose of luck,
Brave pills.
because that motor's not going to take that very long for sure.
Well, see, that's why you. So you already have another motor.
Yeah, but
You just
that
start on
motor
that
needs
one.
rebuilt too.
Yeah, but you start on it now, so you get that
Because
done.
I have there's just this overabundance of money hanging out that I
Yeah,
just don't know
I
where
think-
to put.
I think
so
the
let
problem
me put
is-
it in.
I think the problem is nobody has this money because there's some people like seriously, you like, dude, like, come on, like,
Right?
how'd you buy that nitrous
Right?
kit? Like, come, let's be real here. Who owns that nitrous kit? You or American Express? Let's be real.
I refuse to do that.
Smart.
No, it's the right
That's-
thing to do, but there are a lot of people. I'm like,
Way too many people.
eh.
There's a lot of people in my hometown. I was like, now wait a second.
That's that joke with that Chapter 11 club. I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
the joke is that those guys build those Genesis coupes, and it's all financed.
Yeah, no, actually.
Oh, that's the
shit.
name of a
It's
Genesis club.
It's called Chapter 11, like the bankruptcy.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kind of sketchy.
Oh, it's the tagline is going for broke.
of course it is.
And they do crazy body and suspension and wheel and like works wheels and Rocket Bunny kits and serious cash.
money.
$10,000, $15,000 paint jobs.
Yeah, no.
$10,000 wheel and tire combos.
Yep, and you're like,
Yeah. Wait a second.
I can't live that life.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I don't even want to.
No, it sounds you'll never get ahead. The
I don't-
problem is,
well,
okay, so
even-
you have this cool car.
Even if I could afford that, even if I could just cash money that all day long, I wouldn't want that because I feel like I couldn't enjoy that car.
Yeah, because if you break something, what do?
I spent way too much money building this car. I wouldn't enjoy it.
The thing is, though, okay, so you do that, you build that car. That's it. Now you got to pay off all the debt to go along with that because now you can't buy anything else. So you're backwards.
These
now.
are guys who are single and probably like union electricians or something like that.
I feel like you're
working like
stereotyping.
$60, working like 60 hours a week, making like $30 an hour, and living in their parents' basement.
That too. Yeah, spending too
The
much
free
money
rent
on
part helps.
spending too much money on a car and then not having
Rent.
rent.
Yeah,
People make interesting life choices.
make more money
Yeah.
than I do. Live with mom and dad.
Yeah,
Just saying.
but set
That's
that
how
money
they
on
do
fire when it comes to
That's
the car.
how they do that.
I get it. It's not a lifestyle I want to live, though.
No.
No, I love my mom and dad. Don't want to live with them. That might be why I still, can talk to my parents. It's because I
You don't live with them?
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yep.
Rad. Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's do the news presented by Petrolbox. Before we do that, though, Robbie, did you make a YouTube video?
I did. I opened this box.
Did you do?
Robbie opened it all the way up.
Did you open a box, Robbie?
I opened the box
and you put it on the YouTube.
I put it on the YouTube. It was rad.
It was rad.
These coasters are sweet.
I know,
You've
I'm
been,
playing with the
spinning
coaster.
that one for a while.
What's the
now.
name? What's this brand? Does anybody remember the brand name?
For the
It's this is laser cut, right, Robbie?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's a wood coaster. It's laser
It's
cut.
like a BBS wheel.
Yeah, it's like some sort of
Some
BBS
sort.
wheel. It's pretty rad. It's pretty rad city. I like it.
My son loves those.
Fidget spinners.
No, the shades. The
Oh,
the shades, yeah.
Prime or whatever.
Yeah,
I
the
think
Prime
they were
shades. It came with a dude. It came with like a $30 pair of sunglasses.
Yeah.
Do that math.
And that came with a coupon for like
Well, it was 30% off.
30% off
for
another
pair.
order.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And they have like polarized sunglasses and stuff. That's legit. And there was a T-shirt.
Those are nice sunglasses.
There was this coaster, which this looks expensive, and there was
that awesome smelling Jay Leno air freshener.
but there was a Jay Leno's Garage wash.
Just keep rubbing it in.
That
Robbie.
also smells great. It smells like cherries.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the air freshener smells amazing. I just pulled it out of the wrapper, stuck it in the car, closed the doors. I'm like, you know what? You're going to sit in there all winter, and it's going to smell great forever.
The smell
So,
of Jay Leno.
My
does.
mom is obsessed with denim things, like to the point where we have a denim couch at my
I remember
Did
parents'
she
house,
love
right?
Jeremy Clarkson then? And Jay Leno?
Well, she loves Jay Leno for sure. I don't know about Jeremy Clarkson. I never even put two and two together there. But so I opened the box that I got before you guys did.
Yeah.
And I was reading through the contents, and it said Jay Leno denim air freshener. And my dad got a box too because he wanted to see what the hype was all about,
Yep.
right? So I called my mom and I was like, "Are you home right now?" "Yeah." "Open Dad's petrol box." Like, seriously, open it. You are gonna love this. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Open it up, get the air freshener." And she was super jazzed about it.
It is. It's awesome. It does sell handsome and successful.
Handsome and successful.
That's
as
exactly
Robbie
what it
said.
smells like.
Handsome and successful.
Just like Robbie.
What else was in there? They had the
Handsome, I
wash.
guess.
They had the Jay Leno's wash, which
Jay
I'm
Leno's
sure
wash is, I haven't used it yet, but it does smell really good, which is weird for a car wash, but
there had to be like at least $80 for this stuff in there. It was
Minimum.
crazy.
That Jay Leno stuff, like that's not just rebranded stuff. He
He actually has a part in that.
formulated all like that's the
his
stuff
thing.
that they
They use
developed
in his shop.
for washing their crazy out of control shit.
That's pretty rad. There was a 10% off discount for that too.
well, yeah.
Yep.
Have you looked at the prices on like Adam's polishes and stuff?
Yeah.
For last month.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
That glass cleaner is not cheap.
No, not at all.
So
Not
and
at all.
it's awesome. It's worth it.
Yep. Yeah.
So
that
for those
stuff's
that missed
pricey.
out and didn't have a box, go pay for it full price. It's worth it though. It is.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you had a Petra box, it'd be
Yep.
It's almost disappointing how expensive it is.
Because
Because now you're hooked.
oh yeah, I have to use
Now
it.
you're like, damn it, this is
I'm
a
on this
forever
now.
cost now.
Uh-huh.
And use it sparingly.
Robbie's like, I'm well aware.
I'm fully aware.
I've
I've
already
got a
had this
giant house
conversation.
with tons of glass.
There's
I've
tons of
already
glass in
ran
this
through
house.
3 bottles.
Listen, Jess, put the Windex away. Put it in the garbage
Just
can.
throw that crap away.
Throw away the $3 Windex. We're using this $16 bottle of Adam's Polishes glass cleaner from now on.
Yeah.
Well, their maid is, let's be real,
Yeah, I know. I
on
know.
the estate.
It's really a sunken cost that they'll never see, to be honest.
That's not true.
You'll never even
not
notice
even
it.
a little
Not
bit.
even you won't even
It's
notice
part
it.
of the HOA fee.
Yeah, it's
God, I
it's,
wish.
it's in there.
Oh, I wish.
That would be pretty sweet.
That would be great.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
MyPetrolBox.com. Use the code 10tenths with an S on the end to get $7 off your first box.
You're a fool if you don't do it. There, I said it.
Robbie was laying down some truth bombs on that video. He's
did.
not
He was not holding any
I was
punches,
calling
was
people
he?
out.
He was calling people
like
out.
almost by name even.
That's what this.
I almost did call him by name. I knew there was one video I'm thinking specifically, and she is holding the box. She's going, I have this box, and then I also have this box, and this one's for the girls. And I can tell you, I'm not being paid by them, but this is the greatest box ever. And then you should definitely buy it. But if you do it, use my code. I'm like, that if you have a code, you have a deal with them, you liar.
You have some sort of affiliation with them at an absolute minimum.
She might not be getting cash in hand, but that's an affiliation. That's how sponsorship works. She's a liar, and you shouldn't trust her for anything. And if you don't, I'm not calling anyone by name, but like everyone on there is lying. That's why we partnered with them. That's our thing. We like what they're doing. We're partners.
Yeah, we partner with people that we like.
Yeah. Anybody who we've partnered with, we do it because we believe in them. We like what they are making.
Yeah.
and we're not liars.
Providing.
So that's
As far as you
trust
know.
me.
Trust me.
Trust me.
Anyways,
Anyway, yep.
Let's do the news.
MyPetrolBox.com. Let's do the news.
okay. We'll start this off with a former Ford engineer is considered using a similar individual turbo per cylinder setup.
So, Robbie, I know that you love it when engineers make things overly complicated. I know that's your favorite thing in the whole wide world.
Bro,
Yep.
you want to talk about complication?
This is a recall waiting to happen.
This is super
This is all the recalls waiting to
so
happen.
much underhood
There's-
heat.
There's
I-
two throttle bodies per cylinder in this design.
That was the other thing that
2 of them, Robbie.
Yep. This is just a 3-cylinder car. It's
got 6 throttle bodies on it.
Yep. And then 3 turbos, which is basically the turbo is set up next to the head before the exhaust manifold is kind of how it's set up.
kind of is the exhaust manifold.
Basically. And then, of course, the drawing's backwards, so it shows that the turbos are on their side and the intake is actually it's backwards. But anyways.
It's fine, Robbie. Just let it happen.
This isn't a new technology, though. I mean, I understand the concept hasn't really been developed by a backing like Ford. There's a company out of the United Kingdom called Owens Developments. They did this in like 2005. Then I can't remember who it was, but there was a drag racer from back in like the 70s that had this crazy straight 6 that had 6 turbos on it.
There's I think it's an RX-3. I'm pretty sure it's an Australian drag car. He's got a quad rotor with 4 turbos on it.
Right. Well, then Bugatti, their Chiron has 16 cylinders and 4 turbos, which is basically a 4-cylinder engines with 4 whatever. But yeah, so I mean, it's not new technology, but yeah, I mean, doing this and then expecting it to be a reliable, gas-saving, it's not a terrible idea. I just think the complexity of it isn't going to justify it.
That's how I felt about it, too.
Yeah,
I just think it's going to be too much underhood heat. Even though they're smaller, I understand. I feel like there's still going to be more heat being created by individual turbos than one larger one.
And the theory works, too. Like, it should be pretty snappy. Like, you shouldn't have a problem with, like, turbo lag because they'd be really small. You'd get into boost real quick. Your max boost would obviously be limited just due by the size. But I think that... yeah, by the time you engineer this and get it to work, and
turbo lag, I don't really know that we need to get it any better than we already have it in some of these cars.
Well, I think just you wouldn't have to modify shit. It'd just be the fact that they're smaller is going to mean.
Well, I know, like in my Audi, I had to like do certain things to make it so I could feel turbo lag in that car. It had almost no appreciable turbo lag.
Right.
I don't know that we need to get this wildly complicated to try and get rid of what little is left already.
Well, then the focus would be emissions, fuel economy. Like they want to have a very small engine, as small as possible, but still have the power of like a 4-cylinder, a V6, something like that.
What do you think, Mike?
I think it's super complicated. I think, the basis of all this is the CAFE standard and the fact that all fleets need to be at 54.5 miles per gallon here
as
in the near future.
Average,
right, as a fleet average, which means you need cars that are more efficient than that. So, I mean, they're just trying to extract any efficiency that they can come up with. Realistically, will they make one of these? Maybe not. I think the cost of it is going to be astronomically high, and the idea of it is it's supposed to go in an economy car, which is supposed to be a cheap car. So I think probably if this technology is developed or it goes into production, it probably will be short-lived, and they'll just continue to develop more efficient battery packs because your MPG on that is obviously a lot higher on an electric car than on a gas car, and it's going to be cheaper and way less complex. One moving part versus a billion moving parts in a 3-cylinder with 6 throttle bodies and 3 turbos. So, will we see one? Maybe, but
I think I'd say
it'll be like one. They'll make 1 or 2, and then that'll be it.
This isn't really manufacturer backed, is it? This is an ex-Ford engineer, is it?
Yeah, he worked for several companies, though. I think he worked for.
I can't remember.
He
exactly.
developed this. I think he kind of developed this independently. Is the way I don't think this is manufacturer backed.
No, not at the moment. No.
Right.
I think his point was he'd probably try to patent. I think he had several patents. And he was going to sell them.
Yep.
Is what his plan is. Okay. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's. Somebody may buy it on it, but I realistically don't think that it's producible and profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
Jim Clark is his name, I think.
Let's add some moving parts
and make it more complicated.
That'll go over well.
Yep. So anyway, interesting idea, but let's keep it as an idea. What else, Robbie?
Formula One is finally allowing streaming on basically online for all their races,
but only for limited markets.
Oh, really?
For now.
So
anyway.
what I read was like in Britain, whoever is airing it there has a contract that extends through
Yeah, it's
2018, so
like
that's going to stay in place. You can't stream it in Britain,
Or like NBC Sports here.
but like
That goes away next year.
that
though.
goes
Oh,
away
does it?
next year.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that's why we're going to get this.
Oh. Well, MotoGP's already doing this.
Yeah.
It's
Lots of places. There's a ton of them that are streamed on Motor Trend on Demand,
right.
like
I mean,
Pirelli World Challenge. And
It's
stuff
way
like that.
more. It's way more intelligent.
Yes.
It's crazy to think that you want to consume something and you can't. You know what I mean? And you would pay to consume it and you can't. That's crazy in this day and age to have something that's behind a barrier like that.
I know lots of people who are going to put money into this
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
they want to be able to watch it much easier.
And I think it's good for advertisers through Formula One because they're going to get more exposure, and I think they'll have better demographic information. Because if you have to sign up for Motor Trend on Demand or you have to sign up for YouTube or whatever, you're going to input, you're this old male, whatever.
Yep.
They're going to know where you live. They're going to know all that stuff, and I think that they're going to have a better product to sell to advertisers as well.
You actually have real numbers on how many people watched it instead of estimated numbers based on
exactly.
sample sizes.
Exactly. Yep.
I can know it down to the individual. It's not
Yep.
a guess.
So I think it's good for everybody.
I think it's kind of the direction that cable's going to end up going, a la carte.
I can safely say, having been in the industry for a long time, in 5 to 10 years, cable TV as we know it will be the way of the landline.
Yeah, I guess
It won't
absolutely can
exist.
see that.
You will buy your channels from, there are groups of people who own groups of channels, and you will buy the ones you want from those people, and they will bill you monthly directly, and you will stream it to your TV through a Roku or some sort of internet connection device, and it'll be just that, and it'll be the end of it. And frankly, that's the way everybody wants it to be. And most people would spend just as much money as they do now just to get the channels they want.
Absolutely.
Because how many bullshit channels are there that you don't?
All of them.
You never watch.
I watch like 5 channels, but I pay
Yeah.
for like 1 million of them.
I legitimately have almost 900 channels, and I watch the same 12 channels I'd watch if I had basic cable.
Uh-huh. I get it.
So I can say that pretty safely, having been in the industry for a while, that that's what is going to happen.
Well, like this year I get the NFL Network for free, or
Yep.
the NFL package for free. And I find myself flipping between a couple games that are interesting to me because I have a player on their team because of fantasy
Fantasy.
football. But then I'll end up going back to the local channel, which is, all the way back at like 8.
Right.
Then jumping back to 707 or whatever. And I see myself, then if I'm trying to do the guide, I'll be at 8. I'm like, shit. And I got to. But yeah, if people are going to go to just having what they want. I'm like, I just want the NFL package. So that's all I'm going to pay for. I mean, I'm not going to, but like there are people that literally only watch DirecTV because of the NFL package.
Yeah.
As a content creator, I'd rather it be that way because I can cut out the middleman and get the revenue stream directly to me.
Yeah.
I can get a larger chunk of that revenue stream that way.
Yeah. I mean, Netflix has changed everything. Really.
Yeah, all those streaming services, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye, cable.
See ya. What's next?
The new LMP1 regulations are coming out in December, and apparently there's increased manufacturing interest.
Hooray!
Adam is excited.
I'm so fucking pumped. You don't even know.
What manufacturers are interested?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. They weren't. They were kind of like not.
Is this bad?
They're having
Is this bad
negotiations with
Oh.
manufacturers to determine
I guess is
what they would like to see. They want to know what they would like to see so that they can create the series that they want to compete in
And then keep them around.
and keep them around. Yeah, they're
Right.
trying not to
Keep
push
the
people
manufacturers
out.
happy.
Right, which totally makes sense.
Smart.
It's the right way to approach
Yeah.
this. But I think they said specifically they were talking to Toyota and Aston Martin
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
a lot of interest.
Toyota obviously.
You
'cause
don't
they're
want to lose
already
Toyota. Yep.
And I didn't realize Aston Martin, and I don't know that they have the cash flow, but that would be cool if they do.
Peugeot has said no,
Oh, really?
we're out. We're still out. We didn't change our mind
That sucks.
for whatever reason.
Not that I really care about seeing Peugeot's race. I just want more people racing in it.
Yeah.
Who knows? When this information comes out in December, we may be surprised by somebody else. Potentially. We don't know. They're still holding their cards close to their chest.
Chrysler needs a prototype car.
Yeah, they do.
Put a Hellcat engine in that bad boy. Let's go to Le Mans.
Just take it straight off the production line, stick it in them. And
I
just
know
call
they
it
can
a day.
make at least 840 horse out of it.
Perfect. Just turn the boost, change the pulley, put it in the car. Let's go. Stop screwing around.
If you can warranty it, you can race it at Le Mans. I'm just saying.
That's a fair statement.
If they can warranty it at 840 horse, they can race it at Le Mans.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
It's just a day. I mean, look at it that way. It's just got to last a day.
24 hours is not that long in the grand scheme of things.
How many miles is that?
All of them.
I don't know. That's a
It's
lot.
a couple thousand, ain't it?
I don't know that it's a couple, but I do think it is a 4-digit number.
It's obviously out there. I can't think of what it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend.
What's it
time
got?
trying
I
to
mean, it's
find
got a
it.
50,000 mile warranty on it. Surely
Yeah.
doesn't it? What are they
Yeah,
worried about?
What
What are you worried about?
race car things?
Yeah.
Need to calm down.
That'd be sick, wouldn't it?
That'd be pretty cool. That's what a privateer team should do. Is just they should buy.
I'm
the
sure
shell,
there's some
then just, like-
rule that says no, you can't have a motor that big or something like that, or it like doesn't fit in their fuel economy regulation.
I'll guarantee
or
it doesn't fit
something
their fuel
like
economy
that.
regulations.
Which I still
Double
think,
the pit
That's
stops.
probably the problem right there. You couldn't be competitive because you'd have to stop all the time.
Just
yeah, but you'd have the
watching
best
needle
sounding
go-
car out there. It'd be great.
Yeah, everybody would love you if you just showed up with a Hellcat or a Demon motor in
You
your.
got to put a big Hellcat like livery on it too. You know, have the head
Yeah.
on the side of the car. Be sick.
But it has to be a little bit different because you're not sponsored by Dodge. You have to like change.
No.
You know
gotta
what? I
get-
think
you got to
they-
get Sergio on
I
board.
think
with
they'd
this.
look the other way and just be like,
it. Yeah, sure.
"You do you, guys."
Sergio's
It'll be
crazy.
all right. Yeah,
Just get him on board. Just get him excited about it. Get him pumped up.
offer him a like pit pass. It'll be fine.
Seems fair.
Yeah,
He's a crazy old man. He'll bite on it.
I just want more LMP1 things. I'm excited about it.
We'll have to see what happens in December. We
Yep.
will circle back in December for sure.
Probably, maybe not though.
We'll probably totally forget about it by then.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do.
What's
Yeah.
next, Robbie?
The Gran Turismo boss removes the GT mode, reduces tuning options because people supposedly don't understand how engine upgrades work anymore. Which is only, it's true. They have taken the GT mode out of Gran Turismo Sport, but there's like Gran Turismo Challenge, I think is what they call it now.
I don't even.
I
care,
don't
to be
own it
honest
because
with
I don't
you.
have PS4, but they have a different thing, but it's not the same GT. Like you don't start with a budget car, and you don't build your way up anymore, and you don't modify your cars to fit the needs of the race anymore like we
Isn't
used
sport just like almost all race cars?
to. No, it's almost all. They're trying to be iRacing. Almost all of it's online.
Well, yeah, that's the way of the gaming world at this point. And I really hate it because I hate people, so I don't like playing.
Well, that's just
online.
it though. That doesn't work. People like Call of Duty. I bought Call of Duty to play online, but I'd still play other stuff once in a while. But like majority was to play online with my friends.
Right.
But then the game Meg came out. It had these huge online maps.
Yeah, you can have like 128 players or something.
100, yeah, like 100 players at once. You couldn't play offline.
Right.
It failed. Like the whole concept of just playing online is exactly why Call of Duty is great. But when they do that specifically, it's saying no, you can't play this on your own. You have to play online. You have to play these huge maps. It failed. It didn't. Like people were still going to Call of Duty. So I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with this too. They're like, we're trying to be iRacing. Yeah, but if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go with iRacing. That's what that's for.
Yeah, I suppose.
And they're also at the same time they're getting away from the simulator of it being Gran Turismo is not a game, it's a simulator. And like you're trying to build your way up. Like you're learning about the cars, you're learning about setups, you're learning about everything, really.
Right.
And they're kind of taking that away, in my opinion.
So I'm not surprised that they're like making it so there's not as much customization in the game. One of the things I've always disliked about Gran Turismo over Forza, because those are kind of the two competitive,
Yeah.
platforms. In Gran Turismo, generally speaking, so like if you have a race, the races are always based on like a numbering system,
Yeah,
a performance point.
performance point. Yep, sorry.
The closer you can get your car as a base model to that number, the better off you are in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy modification of a really slow car to turn into a really fast car and give it that high performance point value does not equal as fast a car as a car that's base started closer to that number.
Right.
Whereas in Forza, it was the opposite. If you had if you had 700 as the number,
Yep.
you wanted to start out with like a 250 car and just mod the living shit out of it and get it all the way up there. And that car would result in a faster car than starting with a car that was at like, say, 680
Okay.
and putting very minimal parts on it.
I gotcha.
Gran Turismo has always been the opposite of that, which was one of the things I didn't like about Gran Turismo, because I want to modify and make these cars ridiculous.
I get that.
But that was never, I enjoyed going out there and beating Lambos with my Omni. Of
course.
That's what I like doing. It was fun that way. And I wanted to play the cars that I got to drive that I could potentially drive in real life. And Gran Turismo encouraged you to play cars that you would get to drive.
Yeah, I get that. And I actually kind of ended up, as time progressed, I steered away from that because the AI for the racing on that was really bad.
It's terrible. It's always been really bad.
And then I went to the other end of the spectrum, which is Grid Autosport, where the AI is so aggressive, like they're bumping you. Yeah, they're bumping you into off the turn, and I mean that's not how you'd really race,
right?
But the damage was more realistic. The racing was more competitive. I mean, if you put it on advanced, you were getting stomped out. Like you had to have the perfect run just to be competitive. So I mean, I wasn't that good, but
right.
But I preferred. I went to Grid Autosport and preferred that over Gran Turismo, unless I was doing driving a 240 with a similar setup to what I already have, just to kind of get an idea of what to expect, which is kind of a weird thought.
In Forza, that's a more realistic possibility.
Right.
Like in Forza, I have an Omni because there is an Omni on there.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a GLHS, so it's a turbo car, but I do like real minimum motor mods to it, so it's similar or as close to similar in power as I can make it, and then like I'll put my alignment specs in it and all that stuff. Yep. And that's what makes that game interesting and fun to me, is that I can drive that car in real life as well as in the game.
Right.
And that's cool to me.
Yeah, I enjoyed that about Gran Turismo as well with the 240.
But Gran Turismo, they'll want you to get in a Miata and put tires on it, and that's it.
Yeah. Huh?
And I never liked that as much.
I felt like it taught me things about cars.
It does.
So the creator is claiming that people either don't have interest in it or don't have interest to learn or can't learn what all of these adjustments mean to these cars. So therefore it doesn't translate to them and we're going to take it out.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's saying.
But kids that play those games, they don't know that stuff either. No. And when I was a kid and these games were just coming out, I mean, I didn't know what this stuff was, but I looked it up.
Yeah,
and
you'll
figured
learn.
it out. I learned from it.
A lot of my understanding of
okay.
alignment settings and what they do to change your car has been developed by me having to figure it out on racing games.
So
you
my
can't
point
even do that? There's no setup?
Yeah, there is. There's setup.
Okay.
There's some of that stuff. My point is, when you take away those, I feel like I liked those options. I appreciated them because that's how I learned.
I feel like they are taking the wrong approach to this.
Yeah,
if
I agree.
If they think that people aren't doing those things because they don't enjoy them, they should try and find a way to encourage people to do it more instead of just saying, they don't want this anyway. Because that's not continuing the automotive love. That's not instilling it in the younger generation. That's throwing it out the window.
Well, they're also trying to turn a racing simulator into a game.
Right.
I mean, it's never been a game. I mean, it even says it on the package. Driving simulator. Not game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by getting rid of those type of setups, that type of understanding of what the car does, you definitely get away from the fact of it being a simulator. It's more of a...
Yeah, that's their market. If you want a serious driving simulator or you want a serious driving game, let's say, for PlayStation,
yes,
this is what you buy. If you want a fucking around game...
If I want an arcade, you get Need for Speed.
You get something... Exactly. This is for serious, you're competing, you're doing whatever. This is more serious, for sure. People know that getting into it, I feel like. So...
How many people do you know in our age category that attribute a large portion of their love for automobiles and specific cars to Gran Turismo? Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 3.
All.
Heck yeah.
Nearly all of us, our love for Skylines came from that or Fast and the Furious. One or the
a little bit of both. But yeah, like
or a little bit of both.
Gran
Yeah.
Turismo 2 was my jam. Like I played the crap out of that game.
Yeah. I never started until 4 because I didn't have a gaming console when I was younger.
PlayStation 1.
I never even had one of those.
Yeah.
But I wasted hours of my life on 4.
Oh, I'm sure.
Tons of hours. Because I'm a collector, and there's a lot of fucking cars on those games.
Yeah. I remember how much time you put into 5.
Yeah. And I couldn't get into 6 for whatever reason.
No, yeah, same here.
6 was just not a very good game. And I'm not even going to buy this one.
No PlayStation 4, so I'm not gonna.
Even if I had it, I wouldn't buy this.
I would if I had
game.
a PlayStation 4 setup, but
So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting turn of events from them.
yeah.
Did you see that in Taiwan they're offering a package that comes with a real Miata?
I did.
Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life?
Yeah,
That's like,
I don't even understand.
That's like
that.
the top because it's been that thing. Like now, you'll buy these packs, these special editions
Yep.
of video games,
Yep.
and they've always tried to like one up each other. Like, oh yeah, well fuck you. Here's a Miata, $28,000. What? Slow
don't
your
know.
roll, people.
I don't know.
Let's calm down a little bit.
Somebody's bought it. You know, 20 years from now, somebody's like, bro, this is the limited edition Gran Turismo Miata. How do you not know what this is?
And there's only gonna be a few of them.
Right.
The GT86 in Japan, there was a special edition for Gran Turismo 6, and you could go to a track day and then download your data from that and upload it to Gran Turismo and use that as your ghost. But you could only get that car in Japan.
Isn't the Miata package
That's a
only
really
in Japan?
cool.
Yeah,
that's
or
in
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Oh, okay.
That's a really cool idea, though. Being able to download your data from your car and put it on your video game,
Yeah.
and then use that as your ghost to chase.
Well, Gran Turismo 6 was also supposed to be that you could take your GPS data
Oh, God.
and
If they would have got that working.
so the big selling point for 6 was that you could take your GPS data from your car. So like if you go to Marshalltown, for example, you could build a track based on that GPS data and then practice it.
Yep.
And I was all about that. That's why I bought Gran Turismo 6. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get this. I'm going to get these apps for my phone. I'm going to get this all in there. I'm going to practice.
Oh, yeah.
It never actually came to
So
fruition.
many hill climb courses I was going to make. Oh, it was going to be sick.
Never came to fruition.
Nope.
And they had a dumbed down version of it, I think, eventually. But at that point, everyone had
Nobody
moved on.
cared at
Everyone
that
had
point.
moved on from that game.
Yep.
I mean, they'd moved on to other stuff.
Yeah. That was a disappointment.
I wouldn't be hugely surprised if this is the end of the Gran Turismo series.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I mean,
That's what I thought was 6, frankly.
Yeah, and then I mean, Codemasters I think makes better games. I think their Grid Autosport was a better game. What else? They do another one. Is Codemasters iRacing?
No.
I don't know.
No.
What do they do? They do another game that I think is really impressive, and I can't think what it is right now.
Are they the one that makes the Formula 1 games?
Yes, I think that's true too.
Those apparently are crazy.
Yeah, they're super. I almost don't like it because it's so fast.
That's the way I
Too
feel.
much.
That's the way I
Your
feel
action
about
time's not
driving
fast enough.
like LMP1 cars and Formula cars.
They made Dirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the Formula 1 games, the Dirt games, and then Grid Autosport. Yeah, the Dirt was a really awesome game.
Dirt's apparently as good as it gets for driving simulation for rallying.
You know.
Interesting. I don't get into any of this stuff, but I mean, I
You don't even
have
own
my
a console, do
no,
you?
I don't. No, but I have my Gran Turismo experience from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's affected a lot of people.
Mine came in my late teens, early 20s, but
Yeah,
we all
you
have
had
it.
your experience. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I guess we'll see what the progression of it is.
Yep.
Should we wrap this up, Robbie?
Sure.
mypetrolbox.com, 1010 is the code. Go to the Facebook group, join that, share things,
Tell us about your life.
tell us about your life.
projects.
Show your car and your project.
Yeah.
Since we're working into the winter months here, let's see what you guys are working on. Yeah, I like seeing that. There was a post about that today, but make another post with what you got and what you're working on.
There are a lot of you on there who never introduced yourselves.
There are a lot of people on there that haven't said anything. I don't know if they're just laughing at the people that are talking or silently
I'm on
making
a lot
fun
of
us.
groups I've never commented on, so I get that.
Yeah,
but,
I'm the
lurking.
same way.
but please
Don't lurk.
be involved.
Don't come in the group and lurk. It's weird. That's all I'm saying.
Don't make it
That's
weird,
what I
man.
usually do.
Don't make it weird. Go to the YouTube channel, see Robbie's unboxing.
It's really funny.
For
I
October.
enjoyed it thoroughly.
Actually, I did get a couple texts saying, "Oh, and you said Jay Leno is hilarious." I'm like, it really wasn't that funny.
I was super well because I wasn't here for the recording of this one, and watching it was super funny. It was
good.
great. I enjoyed it.
I think that's it. Right?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
We'll see everybody next week.
See ya.